back. We are working on the Kindling splitter, and in this tutorial we're working through how to create this blade, which is a relatively easy shape and process to do. The tricky bit's actually dimensioning it so it's in the right spot, and even the way I've made it's probably not technically correct because it's not actually touching the piece there. As you can see, it's just touching on the corners there, but it's not actually touching in there. But that's probably quite realistic to what you're actually going to make. So by now you should have a simple framework like this, and you should see everything's touching and yeah, right to go. So I'm going to select the right view. I could do the left view, doesn't matter for this process, and I'm going to select rectangle. Once again, I can't draw on any of these round surfaces or base myself off that, so I have to base myself off the origin. So I can open up that and find the plane that lines up where I can actually draw on it, and it's in the middle there. So you see that plane is actually sitting directly in the middle. That's ensuring you drew your cylinders in the right spot, which if you followed my tutorial shouldn't be a problem. Now draw a rectangle, and the important thing now is to actually lock it off of the tangent of the edge. So you'll see it'll lock in at a point. And how you know that is that the Y goes to be minus 94. It won't say some other 95.844, and it won't always lock on. There we go. So lock it on there. Draw your other rectangle so it locks in, and it should lock in at 188. And so you see 188, that's when you lock in. Quite important, because I tried doing this before and it didn't like me when it didn't lock on properly and it wouldn't extrude properly. Undo that last step. Wasn't thinking too well. Going to use the dimension tool and dimension the rectangle that way. And we're going to make that, I think the blades or the leaf springs I've been using is 75mm. And as you see, it's still green because the thing can still move up and down. I need to go through and reference how far it is from somewhere at the top, and you're there going, oh, I need something to locate this off of. It's very, very hard to find a point, but there is a point there. You can actually lock on to the tangent there, or you can, probably an easy one is to locate off the bottom. Okay, so the actual number for that on mine is 160. 160. And now the thing is completely blue, which means it's locked in place. It's easier to draw the curve on now while it's in this form than to try and this saves your whole process. So lock on to that edge, making sure the Y says 94. You find the other edge, or lock in at 188. Lock in. Oh, won't lock in at 180 because I'm not parallel. So just make sure it locks in. And if you do this correctly, just put a curve on and make it too big at the moment. You'll see why when you actually go to dimension it. So we want a 15mm drop. So I want 15mm from that point. And wait, no lazy clicking. Wait till it actually goes yellow before you click. So it's good mouse control. There to there. It's quite a smart piece of software that doesn't take shortcuts. I want this to just touch that line there, and I can't dimension it because dimensioning just wants to create a radius. I'm going to use this tool here called the coincident, or the tangent tool. Click on that line and click on this one, and bang, actually means they just touch. It doesn't go past the line at all. I can finish that sketch. I don't have to delete all this stuff because when I do my extrusion, it's going to ask me what profile I want, and I want that shape there. I could choose to add that shape as well, but there's really no point to that, so I'll just cancel back out of it. Bang, I want that shape. Now, at the moment it's blowing out one side. We want it to blow out both sides the same amount. So you've got a tool that goes that direction, tool that goes both directions, and an asymmetric, which means you can make it go out one distance one side and a different distance the other way. So we want to use the symmetric, and the blade that I have at the moment is 11mm. That might change. And that's going to go through and create our little blade, except there is no edge at the moment. So I'm going to create a chamfer. Difference between a chamfer and a fillet. A chamfer is a straight edge, a fillet's a round edge. And this is much like the router bits that we use, but in this case we'll be using the bench grinder to put these bits on. Now, knowing it's 11mm thick, you should know that your dimension to get a point on the edge, or you'll start getting a point from 5.5, and that's going to go through and mean those two edges meet. Click apply, and we can get out of that, and now you can see we've got a nice little edge there. It doesn't have to be sharp because it's actually a splitter, not an axe. It just has to be, like, I don't have an extreme angle, it can just be quite a wide angle. And that's how we go through and make our blade. Looks pretty cool. Next tutorial we'll run through how to go through and make that base, which is simple but just lots of dimensioning. We'll press unsaved, press the recording, and